Hey, what's going on, guys? So if you were watching, I just was doing the same live stream and I had feedback on my mic, and that's because I had to buy a power line adapter. And if you're watching this at a later time, I'm actually live right now, so I'm gonna jump into what I was talking about in just a second. I just want to take off the first thing that I was talking about because the audio sounds not that clear in that one. So I'm just gonna take that down really quickly. And I didn't realize that because for some reason like there's interference between my power adapter and my microphone. It's probably why I got a dislike on that last video. Um okay, cool. So all right, let's just jump into it real quick. So what's going on, guys? So let me just open this. One second, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right, cool. So, all right, cool. So, what's going on, guys? If you're watching this at a later time, this is a live stream. So if you have any questions, definitely leave your comments and your questions below. But I'm gonna start talking about why you need to stop focusing on link building and what you need to do instead, because this is really important to me, and I think that more people need to understand this, right? Real quick though, if you are watching this right now, please leave a like right at this moment. And if you have any questions about what I'm speaking about, just ask me anything that you have, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. So the first thing that I would say is we live in a noisy world of SEO, and there's so many people who do SEO, and we all see the common things that people talk about to achieve links, which is, guest blog posting and all this stuff. But ultimately, like what people don't talk about, which is really the most important thing, is just building your network of people, right? And when you build up a network of people, it's easier for you to get links, right? So one thing I would say is like we need to stop focusing on link building and we need to start focusing on relationship building. How can we, reach out to people? What are some things that we can do to become friends with people that work at bigger companies that we want to link to our website, right? And the thing is that I think when people think about just the action of like building out content in exchange for links, that's not a long-term strategy, because even if you get that content on that specific web property for that one time, you might not get it again just because, right? So that's why you need to focus on building relationships and building your network of people so that you can continuously get opportunities like that. So, why I say stop focusing on building backlinks is because when you focus on building backlinks, the intent of what you're trying to do is different than when you're just focusing on building a genuine connection. Like if I'm focusing on building a backlink, then I'm going to think about I'm going to think about guest blog posting. I'm going to think about all these other surrounding things that I can do that is around link building, but I'm not going to think about like the very basic core human aspect of it, right? Which is literally, like I said a million times, relationship building. So if you've been watching my YouTube channel for quite a while, you know that I've been doing a lot of interviews on my YouTube channel, right? Is my internet lagging? No, I think I should be good. So you know that I've interviewed a couple of people. And one of the people that I interviewed, like I interviewed Michael King, right? And Michael King is a huge influencer in the SEO industry. He has like a large agency where he's worked with a multitude of different companies, large banks. He's worked with Major League Baseball. He's done talks at Inbound, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not gonna go into all his backstory, but a lot of people ask me like, "Hey, Dre, how did you get that interview? How were you able to get Michael King on your YouTube channel?" Or same thing for Ryan Stewart. Like everybody sees Ryan Stewart. Ryan Stewart has a huge YouTube following, over 30,000 people following him on YouTube. And they're like, how did you get him on your YouTube channel? And literally, I took the same approach for both of those people, right? Like I reached out to them on LinkedIn. I reached out to Michael King. He took about 6 months to respond to me, but he ultimately got back to me, and then I was able to build a connection with him. Like for example, today he had a room on Clubhouse where he was talking about SEO and stuff of that nature, and he invited me to the room, and he was there with like Larry Kim and Brian Dean and all these other people. But ultimately, if I didn't have him in my connection, he would have never been able to invite me to that specific clubhouse that they were in. So I would, or club, that's what they call it on Clubhouse. So that specific club that they were in. So I would have never been able to get into that specific room, or I would have never known about it if I wasn't connected with him. And getting in there, allowed me to learn. I could have, probably spoke there. It would have gave me a lot of exposure to get in front of other people and share my expertise. If people don't agree with me, then cool. But that's why we always want to make sure that whenever we are speaking, we want to make sure that we're delivering the best content possible that people resonate with. And by the way, if you like the stream, please give me a like, give me leave a comment, let me know something to the people watching. But ultimately, what we need to start focusing on is, like I said, building those relationships. And there's a bunch of ways that you can go about it, right? Like, you have social media for a reason. You want to use social media to get social. Like, that's what you should be doing, right? Because that's ultimately what social media is for. I think a lot of people don't think about how they can use these social media platforms to get links. They think about social shares and they think about all this other stuff that doesn't really matter. Social shares matter. Don't get me wrong. Social shares definitely matter to increase rankings, right? But think about it on a deeper level. Like, how can you build connections with people? Because if you build connections with people, number one, you'll get more social shares. Number two, you'll be able to get on their publications. And number three, you'll get more exposure for yourself. In addition to that, I think that's what's really important as well is brand mentions. So the more that you're going on all of these different podcasts, you're going on these different websites, even if you're getting no follow links back to your website, I still think it's extremely important, because Google is much more sophisticated than it was years ago when it couldn't understand exactly what your specific website was about just from your brand mention, right? But now you have larger companies that's tracking things like share of voice. And if there's companies that are tracking stuff like that, then just think about like how like Google can do that as well, right? So I would just say that we really need to focus on understanding how to do network optimization. And I know that sounds weird. It sounds like super like something that I just made up, and that's because I did just make it up. But really understanding how can you optimize your live presence or your ability to connect with other people to leverage that to lead into more SEO opportunities for the business that you're working with, or the brand that you're working with, or your website, or whoever you're doing SEO for. I think that that's one of the major strategies that we need to start talking about, and understanding how to do like strategic partnerships and stuff like that, so that you can position yourself to get in front of their potential audience and spread value, right? And that's how you'll start generating more links. So I think this whole notion of we need to do link building and we need to spend time, I've been preaching this for quite a while, but just overall link building method is outdated. And I think that people need to start doing it a little bit differently. So what are some actionable tips that you can start taking right now? Well, if you are currently working with anyone that you're doing SEO for them, one of the things that I would suggest to you is to understand how you can help them build up their network of people, right? So talk to them and see like who is it that they're connected with? How often are they trying to connect with new people? Are they I think one of the best strategies that's going to be extremely, I want to say, relevant in some time is Clubhouse. Like Clubhouse for links, right? Like building a network on Clubhouse and then reaching out to those people individually, connecting with them, building a rapport with them, and then asking them to, publish a content on their website. Again, if you share valuable information, people are going to do it. So think about what social media channels encourage you to network with people, which is mostly all of them. And then think about with new people, right? And then think about how you can start leveraging that into your link building strategy that you might be using right. Spend your time on things that actually is going to move the needle, as opposed to spending your time on stuff that's really not. Um, if anyone has any questions, by the way, just let me know. Who is that you're doing SEO for them? One of the things that I would suggest to you. It feels like my camera is lagging or something. I feel like it's my internet. It's kind of annoying. Because this never used to happen. But I feel like it's my internet that's lagging. It's because of the chip in my the Wi-Fi chip in my what